Привет! Меня зовут Alex и добро пожаловать в WPT Russia. I think I need a few more lessons before I can do the whole of this in Russian, but WPT Russia is back at Casino Sochi in partnership with Party Poker Live for another full-on epic week of poker nestled in the Caucasus Mountains.
Vadim L gonna raise it up to 4,500 here in the hijack. Do we have 3 Vadims at this table? I think we have 3 Vadims. Vadim S, clearly the superior Vadim here, with the better hand, King Jack, in the small blind. It's going to call. And Andre in the big blind with 8-6 is going to call as well. For a cheap price to see a flop, fairly reasonable. And it is King Jack Deuce. This could spell trouble for Vadim L because Vadim S has top 2 pair. Vadim L's got to feel good about his hand. I have a king, I have a 10 kicker. Like, I probably have the best hand here, but we can see, of course, the other Vadim has got him crushed. Vadim L is going to go for a bet of 4,500. He's just got 41,000 chips left here. Around 23 big blinds if you include this bet. That is not a lot of room. Difficult to see him getting away from his hand here. Now, what is Vadim S going to do? Has a very strong hand, top 2 pair, a backdoor flush draw, but he puts in the raise on the flop. Is there any way Vadim L can get away from his hand? I think the standard move would just be to call King Jack here. It's such a strong hand. You block the club draw. But Vadim S does go for the raise, and maybe Vadim L can find a way out. So you call to the turn. 9 of spades gives a straight draw to Vadim L. But Vadim S immediately goes all in. Meaning Vadim L has to decide, do I call off for my 31,000 chips? Risk my tournament life here? He's got to be thinking, if my king 10 isn't good, maybe I could hit a queen to make a straight. Maybe I could hit a 10 to make a better 2 pair. Maybe my opponent has a flush draw. Now, something interesting with the 9 is queen 10, one of the straight draws that potentially could have played aggressively, just got there. So that's got to be something going through his mind. Just a very big cooler. From my perspective, Vadim L, you can't blame him for going broke here. It'd be an exceptional fold if he can find it. But you have 23 big blinds and you flop top pair with a reasonable kicker. Can he get away? All of you watching at home, ask yourself the question. Could you get away? I don't think I could. We do get a call. We are going to see a river here. 4 outs remain for Vadim L to stay alive in this tournament. He needs a queen and only a queen, or we will see Vadim S double through. Oh my God, it's a queen! Unbelievable. 9% going to the river. Bam! Round to Alexi again in the hijack, but the 10 and the 10. Very strong hand for 29,000 chips in his stack. He's going to want to play, but how? Does he go for the all-in shove, or does he min-raise, trying to induce some action? He does go for the all-in shove, 29,000. And we see Vitaly on the dealer button with 5-5, a pretty good pair here. He's got to feel like he's got a decent hand at this stage of the tournament. He would have to call 14, just over 14 big blinds here to play. Now he does have to consider the two behind as well, and the small blind and the big blind. You wouldn't want them waking up with the monster and taking him out of the tournament as well. But of course, we can see the whole cards, and we know Alexi is really doing well against Vitaly's fives. Vitaly is going to go for the shove. I can't blame him personally for that move. And we're going to see a showdown here. 10s against 5s. Vitaly's 5s in rough shape against Alexi. Oh my goodness, it's a 5 on the flop. 7, 6, 5. Vitaly flopping the bottom set of 5s, and now Alexi only has 2 outs to remain in this tournament. Deuce of diamonds does no help, no backdoor straight draws. A 10 and only a 10 will save Alexi. Not meant to be. Good game. F for respect, Alexi. Seen 2 bust outs so far, several all-ins. Picking up the action, Ilya on the button with the ace-deuce offsuit. He's going to limp it in for 2,000. And now Vadim L behind in the small blind raises it to 10,000, which is pretty big. About 5 big blinds here. And Ilya elects to call. So we go to a flop with 24,000 in the middle. We can see Vadim L has the best hand and flops trip 7s. 8-7-7, a huge flop for Vadim L, but can he get any money? We can see Ilya just has ace high. Vadim L continues with a 6,000 chip bet. And Ilya will call to the turn. Jack of clubs. We can see Vadim L has 100% lock on this hand. If it gets to showdown, I would expect it to. Now, does Ilya elect to bluff here? Does he turn his ace-deuce into a bluff? No, it goes check-check. And an 8 on the river. Vadim has a full house, 7s full of 8s. Ilya has 2 pair with an ace-high kicker. Could think his hand is best. Goes for the bet on the end. 6,500 here. Quite a small bet. An action on Ilya now. Motioning to see the chips. Could be considering a raise. The problem for Ilya is his hand might just be good enough to call in that you chop with the ace-kings, you chop with the ace-queens, you chop with the ace-10s. The ace-9s. You have the same hand as those. And by raising, sometimes you might be able to get a chop to fold, but you risk a lot of money against a 7 or an 8, which is possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. Looks like some chips are being put together. And a raise to 27,000. A quick call from Vadim L. And a big pot going to Vadim L. 91,000 in the middle by the end. And we are going to go 4 ways to the flop here. It's quite an array of hands. Ilya 6-5 of clubs under the gun. Vadim's Jack 10, which is completely missed here. Vitaly's Queen 3 of clubs on the button. And Alexander's Deuce 3 suited in the small blind. Now the only person to hit a pair is Ilya, who was the original raiser. No one can feel particularly happy about their hand, though. Ace 7, 6, 4 ways, king on the turn. Not very many people would bet on a 6 being the best hand here.
7,000. Call. Pass.
6 on the river. Ilya
20,000.
has trips. Alexander has a flush. The worst possible card for Ilya. Making trip 6s. I don't think he can get away here. You make trips on the river. Alexander's going to bet 20K. I can't think of a worse river. Did Ilya just raise? To 43,000. Alexander calls. The flush is good. Ilya going for a very thin raise, and we can see Alexander with the flush. Gonna take down a huge pot there. 115,000 in the middle. Goes for the all-in shove. Sitting on 11 big blinds. And Andre here on the heater looking down at the 10-10. Surely going to make the call, and he does. And now Andre D, our short stack, has ace-10 offsuit. Correctly gives it up here. Igor folds. Anatoly in the small blind, sure to fold. Ernest in the big. Fives against tens. Maxim has 19.4% here. He's going to need to hit a 5 or run out of straight. Ace 7, 6, 2 clubs in the flop. Some backdoor flush on straight draw. Oh my goodness, 8 of clubs on the turn. 32%. Oh, it's a club. Maxim with the flush. Beating the pocket tens. Up to 72,000. What a turn card, that 8 of clubs. You see Ernest with kings under the gun +2 is going to raise 6,500. And Andre, our table chip leader, has queens in the small blind. Disaster for Andre, and Ernest, after giving it up on the river and losing that huge pot, has got Andre pipped. Revenge could be coming here for Ernest. you look at how deep these stacks are, Ernest is over 90 big blinds deep. Andre has him covered. We see the 3-bet from Andre M, which you'd expect with the queens, to 22,500. And how this hand is going to go... Is Pavel going to make a play here? No, he folds it. How this hand is going to go really comes down to how Ernest plays this right now. Is Ernest going to go for the 4-bet? Is Ernest going to call? Or is Ernest going to shove? We know Andre has queens. But there is a lot at stake in this next decision for Ernest. $100,000 it is. 106,000. That is a 4-bet to less than all in, but for more than a third of Ernest's stack. So it's kind of a sizing that's in between the two options. It's not necessarily a 4-bet with the ability to fold. It's kind of like a half all in. There's the shove from the queens. There's the call from the kings. And a huge pot in this tournament right now. 574,000 in the middle. And Andre M, our table chip leader coming into this hand, is in terrible shape against the kings. Ernest feeling great, getting revenge for that tough hand with the jack. But has to sweat 19%. We go to the flop. 3 cards. It's clean. 7, 6, 10. King still well ahead. Andre needs a queen here. Turn is a 6. A queen and only a queen will save Andre in this pot. 574,000 in the middle. It's a 10 on the end. And Ernest with a huge pot up to 574,000.
Eight, 7 deuce, couple of spades, Matas, 2 overs, a gut shot draw. He's going to fire out here, but it is Nikolai, of course, behind with the king high and the flush draw in great shape. Three of hearts on the turn. No help to either player. Matas, no, looks like he is cutting out another bet. It's hard when you're playing against a player like Nikolai who has such a wide range. I just don't think he can continue here. Yeah, he does check. Nikolai happy to check back. And bingo on the river, the offsuit 10. The best card in the deck for Matas. He has the nuts. Nikolai just river top pair. Now, Matas trying to work out what Nikolai has. Quarter raise pre. Call a flop bet. Can he have a hand like 9-10? How big does Matas go on this river? He's going to check. This is going to work a treat. Nikolai cutting out a bet with his top pair, and Matas gets the check raise with the nuts. Right, so I don't think Matas thinks Nikolai has much at all here. It's giving him a chance to bluff. Little does he know, he actually has river the 10. Matas, bet something like 175. Going bigger. And 250. This is a horrible spot for Nikolai. Made his hand on the river. Bet when Matas has checked twice and now faces a check raise. Really hard to give Matas strong hands here. Surely fires. The hand's better than one pair on the turn. And you can see why it's called. And that's not a bad flop for 5-3. Ace, deuce, 4 rainbow. Flops the joint. How well hidden that will be. Anatoly going to see that, of course, having open and seeing an ace high board. And it's gone quite big, it looks like here. Follow me, he's gone 30k. I'll say, you have to go small on this kind of board. Natalia just has so many give-ups now. She has called, but there are plenty of hands she might fold to later streets, to more aggression, some deuce x, some 4x. Will Anatoly fall into the trap? I suspect not. I suspect this was a one and done job. No, I say I suspect it's a one and done job, but it's Anatoly, and he just always fires. 75k this time. Now, does Natalia spring the trap? Only be 210k more, and the pot will be over 300k. But the only hand he really calls with would be an ace, and I think you can expect him to 3-barrel an ace anyway, so I like the call. She had a similar spot earlier where she turned a straight with 10-9 on King Queen Jack. She check jammed. This is actually more of a reason just to call in this spot, given he is going to value jam all the hands that will call your check raise anyway. She does call, and of course she could have picked up some outs here. 4x, deuce x of hearts. We're going to call the turn. She has some pair plus straight draws, 3-4, 4-5, these kind of things. Well, a 4's a bad card in that respect. Anton not really being anything now. I mean, his bluff would be successful against barely anything now. Of course, he knows he's not winning. Wow, she just leads out, and he snap folds. Turn, should he wish to take it that route. So he's going slightly larger to make the shove on the turn that bit easier. This is a coordinated board, of course, albeit rainbow. Alexi with no choice but to flat here.
Cool.
Eight of hearts on the turn. Well, not a great card for Dimitri. Doesn't really change anything. You can't really expect Alexi to have kings or aces. Queen 9 still figures to be best. And what's for Alexi? Picking up the flush draw to go with top pair. There aren't really many combos of an 8 that Alexi can have from Dimitri's point of view. 8, 9 of spades, not an option. So he has a 9 of spades in his hand. 8, 9 of clubs, only one.
All in.
He does decide to rip it in, and I think Alexi's just going to have to shrug and call here. Top pair and a flush draw. Obviously, rather his opponent have some hands like King Jack, King 10 of hearts to call, but you can't have those. You see 1.35 million chip pot. Alexi needs heart or a king. Those are his outs. Heart it is. Ace of hearts on the end. Dimitri, oh, he says, wow. You're pretty unlucky. And it is Bahia, chip leader in the big blind. 5-3 of spades, certainly good enough to call, but he is very dominated here.
Call.
What a flop it is. 6-5-8. Sergey with a set. And well, he's got a little bit of this. Enough to hang around, perhaps.
Check.
And this ball definitely favours the big blind. Once I get better, I think you should go a little larger on this kind of texture. You know, there's a lot of hands that wish to continue.
80,000.
Well, he's gone third pot. I mean, less than third pot. It can't be wrong, but I think you can go a little bit bigger. Obviously, this is perfect sizing. We're up against a 5, which is exactly what he's up against, so it's going to work out here. Varhey, of course, does make the call. Jack of Hearts on the turn will not be a pleasing card for Varhey. Neither Sergey, really, but
Sure.
Sergey should bet this and it'll be the end of the pot. $2.25 the bet, and as I say, this should be the end of this. Anyway, Sergey's continuing with 5-3, 2 barrels on this kind of texture. Sure, he can be ahead. Sergey can have some lone heart combo. But all the hands Varhey's going to call with on the flop. This is one of the weakest. Come the turn. Bottom pair, no draw. And undercard to the board. No, he's taking his time out. Maybe, well, also reaching for chips. And this is not good. We have plenty of better hands to do this with.
540.
Rather see him do this with a 7 or with a heart in hand. I mean, Sergey's... You want Sergey to be bluffing decent percentage when you make this move, and he's just not. Sergey, of course, won't be loving life. He's got to call another 300k. He has a set. There's obviously a flush that beats him. And there's 12 left in the tournament. You get this wrong and you're gonzo. Question of whether he jams. Can I protect his hand in case Varhey does have equity, which he's supposed to have in this situation. Jam will only be about half pot. Or does he call in case Varhey's just absolutely going off the rails like he is here? Given how important it is for these pots, with 12 left, I think I lean towards the jam. Jam here, deny equity. He'll have 2.2 million in chips. Seems pretty tasty. Oh, I hate to see that. The hands go back. Well, it looks like it is just a call. And this is the way I like the hand played in terms of maximising chip EV, but perhaps the risk of busting jam, it might be best. But this also maybe in Sergey's mind, he's concerned he may be behind and maybe Varhey gives up some of those bluffs on the river. Well, that's a pretty disgusting card. Again, Some of those bluffs might be a hand like a 9 with a heart, even a 4 with a heart. And can Vahe follow through now?
Check.
No, he does. And Sergey would be delighted to see that check. He's doing a bit of acting here. Don't know what to do, but for some reason, he doesn't like it. This is the dream. This is what you wanted. You wanted him to shut down. You get the check back. And you beat one pair.
На все.
Чего себе ты натёр-то? Робби смотрит?
Да.
Пас.
Right, 4 bigs the bet. Alexi's going to look him up from the small here with King Jack.
Смотри, натер. Аккуратнее. Но у меня на самом деле
Vahe will fold the big.
очень ауристическая рука.
Пас.
Любимая рука Миши
Oh.
Семина.
Victor will take it. He is ahead.
Даже сверху поехали. Ну что? Надо устоять.
Хорошо натер.
Ну да. Семина натер. Но на старвайке выигрывает. Здесь другая. Да.
Jack 5-3. He spiked. Victor needs an ace. Perhaps a running deuce 4. Three outs on the river, or he will finish in 11th. Oh my word! There it is.
All in.
He does move it in, of course. Igor, no reason to attack now, mate. It's hand for hand. 2 tables of 5. We'll be moving Ernest over to the other table. He's the next big blind.
Пас.
Sergei, frustrated, folds. Alexei shrugs and calls.
Showdown.
Ну нет, там туз дама, я думаю, здесь. А, даже вот так.
Here we go. Vahe, great shape for the double up. Get back to 1.9 million chips. Jack 8-5. Vahe, well, not hanging around to watch. He is going for a smoke. Well, that's a new one on me. Vahe runs out to the balcony area, I assume for a cigarette. And Vahe gets the double when he's not even in the room. That is a new one. Dimitri, well, if you thought of the last time, he's got to fold this one. Well, he doesn't. I mean, I think maybe just looked at 6-4 on the side, wasn't a very good hand and wants to play Jack 10. But Jack 10 against under the gun does terribly compared to 6-4 suited blind on blind. Igor, well, I mean, I gave him sort of the benefit of the doubt. Oh, sorry, it's, yeah, you can call him a 180 and take this 3 away. I was going to chastise him for taking a long time again, but he does fold. You can see his thought process, but here we go. Vahe with a superior hand, superior stack. Dimitri, having made that big misstep a moment ago, taking a shot with Jack 10. The bag is on. He stood up. He's tucked the chair in. Surely he's going to flop big. There it is. Jack 5-3, top pair. Vahe needs an ace queen, some running diamonds. So running straight. Well, that's what's coming. King on the turn. Now, Dimitri making 2 pair would give Vahe Broadway. 9 outs. 1 pull. There it is. Queen on the end. That's the end of Dimitri. Picks up 1.785 million Rubles.
Roman has the pocket fours, our short stack. Found a hand worthy of going with, and they, our second place stack, is going to look them up. A 1 million chip pot going to the flop here. 3 community cards. They needs a king or an 8. That'd be a good start. To the flop. Ace, ace, 3. It's clean for Roman. No king, no 8. They has 6 immediate outs here. Deuce on the turn. Very good card for Roman. Just a king or an 8 for Vey, or else Roman is going to double up to 1 million. 6 outs. 13% to the river. It's a 5. That's a straight for Roman. Our short stack has doubled up to 1.1 million. And the 6-way battle continues. Looking up the ace-9, and we're going to have an all-in flip situation. Alexi picks up a pair behind. Gives it up, of course. And we have a flip here. Ernest with the 8s and 54%. Roman with the ace-9 of clubs, 46%. 1.6 million in the pot. Now, if Roman doubles up, this is a very interesting situation because the stacks are very close together. If Roman loses here, I think we're going to see play open up. We're going to a flop. Ace-9 against 8s. Let's see what happens. Ace in the window, but 8! 8 on the flop. Look at this. Ernest flopping bottom set of 8s. Roman with the top pair and a flush draw. 9 outs immediately. 5 of hearts is not going to get it done. Roman needs a club and only a club to win this hand. 18% going to the river. Ernest with the set. Got the best of it for now. 6 of spades will not get it done. Ernest flopping the set has busted the stymie. We are down to 5 players. It is not over yet. Crazy things can happen in this game of poker. We've got Sergey with the jack and the jack. Just coming off that triple op with the very short stack is going to move... Not move all in, actually. Raised to 450,000. Basically, this is the same thing, given the stacks we're looking at here. Folds around to the big blind. Alexi, who has ace-8. Alexi is actually the shortest stack here with 835,000. Sergey has him covered. But the amount of money that's in play on this hand is huge. 78,000 for 5th place. 4th place is 102K. We're talking a $24,000 pay jump between 5th and 4th place. There's a lot at stake here, and Alexi's in a tough situation. We can see the cards, but Alexi can't, and ace-8 is pretty good. I don't know what I would do if I was Alexi. What would you do if you're watching out there? What would be your choice? I mean, if you knew your opponent had jacks, you'd fold, but we you know, you don't know that in this scenario. The chips are being stacked and slid into the middle. Jack-Jack against ace-8. Sergey with a commanding lead going to the flop, but there is still 5 cards to come. 2.2 million in the middle. We are down to 5, and Alexi is at risk. One overcard to Sergey's jacks. An ace would help. Perhaps some hearts could get him going. 3 cards. Ace in the window. Alexi takes the lead, flopping an ace. Sergey now, with a commanding lead before this hand, has just 2 outs to improve. Needs a jack, or is it going to be knocked down to just a few chips? King of spades at the turn, no help. Just 2 outs for Sergey. 4 of hearts is not going to do it. Has Sergey busted here? We're going to need to do a count. It says eliminated. Goes for the shove. It's an all-in and a call. Vehey making a move. Gets caught by the kings. We've got an all-in situation here. 4.2 million in the pot. Alexi is all in at risk. But if Vehey loses here, it's going to be very short. Got caught on a move. Still has 19% to win this hand. We're going to go to a flop. 3 cards. 6, 5, 9, all clubs. Good flop for Alexi, who has a club. Vehey does not. But Vehey has a gut shot. A non-club 3 would give him the best hand to the turn, which is a 4. Additional outs for the 4 deuce now. A 4, a deuce, non-club, or a 3 will give Vehey the best hand. 1 card to come. It's a 10. Alexi with the huge double up. 4.3 million, and Vehey is down on 730,000. 4. Vlada with a pair of 3s and a gut shot. Ernest with a gut shot with the 5 and king high. And Vehey actually flopping the best hand here with queen 4. A second pair. Vlada bets 200k. Ernest is going to call with a gut shot. And the call is in from Vehey. So we have an all-in situation. We can see the percentages right now, about 57% for Vehey. Ernest 21.6% and Vlada 20.4%. With still 2 cards to come. It's a flip with 2 cards to come, basically. Turn is a deuce, giving Ernest the straight. Disaster for Vehey. And is drawing to a chop here. A 5 and only a 5 will keep him alive. Now, of course, there is still a side pot going on here, and Vlada has made 2 pair.
275.
Vlada may feel as if they had the best hand with 2 pair. Going for a little bet here. Ernest, we can see, has a straight, but from Ernest's perspective, he does see 3 diamonds out there. I don't think we're going to see a fold yet. This is into the dry side pot. So side pot is brewing here. 840 in the main pot, 790 in the side pot to the river, which is a 4. Vehey now has trips, but of course, we can see no good. Vlada elects to check on the end. They're 2 pair counterfeited. Vlada now has 4s and 3s with an ace kicker. So the 3 deuce has become garbage. Ernest is going to go for a all-in shove with the straight. Vlada folds. And we are down to 3. GG, F for respect for Vehey, who is eliminated here in 4th place. Going to take home 102,000 US dollars. Looks down to the king queen and elects to shove all in. Alexi with the kings. Disaster for Ernest, looking down at a pretty decent hand with the king queen. Alexi, second best hand in poker with the king and the king. Calls. Vlada's going to stay out of the way, and we have an all-in situation here. Ernest at risk. Just a few hands into our 3-handed battle, and we have a 7 million chip pot. We have a $50,000 pay jump on the line. 3 cards. 7, 4, 3 with 2 spades. Neither player with a spade. This is no help to Ernest. Needs a king or a queen just for a chance. It's only a queen. Running queens, that's it. 5, 6 for the chop. 10 is not it. Ernest is dead on the turn. We have a 3rd place finisher. Good game to Ernest. Taking home 135,000 US dollars. Flop is 10, 5, 4. Pretty interesting here. Alexi flopping the bottom pair of 4s, and Vlada, the original raiser, has a gut shot and ace high. Goes check, check on the flop. Turn is an ace. Vlada takes the lead now. Alexi gets drawn out on the turn to have a 4th pair. We see a bet from Vlada. as you'd expect with the top pair. And Alexi's got a decision to make here. You do have fourth pair, but it's heads up. You can't be folding too many pairs to just one bet when you're playing heads up. The hands that are possible are too many. So we're going to call. And then 8 on the river. 2 pair for Alexi. Vlada picked it up on the turn, but no good by the river. Alexi with the 2 pair. Is he going to lead out here? Or is he going to go for another check? And it looks like a lead is coming in here from Alexi. 650,000. Quite a bad river for Vlada. It does complete some draws. 6-7 straight draw. Just made a straight. 2 spades. Just made a flush. And of course some random 2 pairs like 4-8 or 5-8 or 10-8. Which you could play this way. But it's heads up. And you have top pair. So I really can't fault him for a call if it does end up happening. But an excellent fold from Vlada with the top pair. This could spell disaster for Vlada. In a heads-up match like this, these are both all-in hands. Vlada goes for the raise to 500,000. Action on Alexi now. Does Alexi just call or play it aggressively pre-flop? But Alexi is going to slow play and just call. We're going to go to a flop with 1.25 million in the middle. Flop is 10-10 deuce. Vlada has not hit a pair, but has got to feel that they have the best hand at this point. Ace-9 in a heads-up match is great. Do see a continuation bet to 350,000. Alexi with the kings. Thinking, how can I get all of the money and win this tournament here? Puts together a call, and we're going to see a turn. Queen of hearts on the turn. Changes nothing about the board for these opponents. Goes check, check very quickly on the turn, and 6 of hearts on the end. Action now on Alexi. With the kings. Sizes out about here on the end. 775,000. Vlada calls very quickly with the ace high. He's going to see the bad news. Kings scooping a big pot. Alexi's all in with the ace deuce. Vlada with the queen deuce is dominated. Alexi all in with 75% to take down this tournament. Has got a commanding chip lead. Has got the best hand. And a huge favorite to become WPT Sochi main event champion. Vlada with 24% going to the flop here. Is going to need some help. 3 hearts might do it. Three cards. Jack 7-5. No help here for Vlad. Needs a queen to stay alive in this tournament. 2 cards yet to come. Let's see the turn. 3 of diamonds. Ooh, this brings a flush draw for Vlada. 11 outs now. Any queen, any diamond to win this pot. 25% going to the river. 1 card to come. It's a jack. Alexi is the champion of the WPT Sochi main event.